This is Peggy Richards Patty, and this is a knitting podcast called Through the Back Loop. I'd like to welcome you if you're returning and welcome you if you're brand new. I've gotten a few new subscribers, and I am thrilled that you're here and hope that I can bring you just a little bit of knitting content. This is mostly about knitting, a little bit of sewing occasionally, and a few other fiber crafts, but mostly knitting, so welcome. I titled this episode, Let's Spread a Little Kindness, because one of my viewers recently spread a little kindness to me, and it was just the sweetest gesture. Her name is JOHANNA Pfeiffer. She's from South Florida. And she knew from watching the podcast that I love knitting with linen. And since I'm here in Southern California, linen, we share that in common. We both, use that fiber a lot. And JOHANNA was so incredibly sweet to send me a piece or a skein of some linen that she had left over from a project. And I was just so touched. This linen is from Fibra Natura flax lace, and I love the color, and I have some other linen from leftover projects that I'm going to pair it with and make a scarf for next summer. But JOHANNA, if you're watching, thank you so much. It was so incredibly sweet of you. And she also sent the coolest sheep card ever, and just an incredibly sweet gesture. It meant so much to me. I want to write her a little card back. I'm sending you one back. It won't be as awesome as this one, though. That is just the coolest. Thank you so much. I had mentioned to her, we kind of corresponded on Ravelry, that makes me want to do something for somebody else. So that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and I encourage you to do the same thing. Just these small acts of kindness are so incredibly powerful, and I think that's what we need more than anything right now. The world's been a pretty rough place, and just trying to get through the pandemic and the restrictions and everything that we're all feeling, and just the incredible amount of sadness and we made it through the election in one piece, at least I think we did, and so there's a lot to be thankful for, but just those. I do feel like that, so many times we are in situations together, and that really is our superpower. Just the smallest little bit of kindness can just do amazing things for people. And so, JOHANNA, thank you once again. That was so sweet. And I haven't figured out, I've got a couple ideas of some things I'm going to do, but I hope everybody will try to do that, buy that person behind you a coffee or whatever it is, whatever little random act of kindness that you can find. Anyway, it kind of just made my whole fall. I've been feeling a little happier ever since that happened. So anyway, knitting podcast. I'm going to get into our content here. I'm starting with finished objects. And I meant to look this up, this scarf. I'll put it down below. I forgot to look on my Ravelry page. I've had this for, I bet about 4 years, something like that. And it's just another one of those scarves that you can just throw on, to dress up a t-shirt. And this one, I do remember knitting it. It has a drop stitch. And so that was pretty fun because I think if I remember right, like I said, it's been a few years, but it was a purl stitch, I think. And then at a certain point, you would drop it all the way down. So that was kind of satisfying to do that, but I will link it below. But my current finished object is, and if you watched previously, you know that I was talking about doing this. These little guys right here are called the Jolly Wee Elves, and they're from Church Mouse, and I plan on having them on my mantle this holiday season. And they are knit out of, let me look, Jameson Shetland Spindrift, and they were knit on a size, some of them were on a, part of it was on a size 3 and part of it was on a size 2. I think the little scarf was a size 2, and I can't remember already, but anyway, quick little knit. This came in a kit, and it does have a tiny little, it comes with a little washer that sits in the base of it so it doesn't, tip over. And they were quick and easy, so you might want to consider knitting one for your mantle or for your house for the holidays. It was fun. Church Mouse always does a great job, very detailed description of what you need to do, and easy. So that's my first finished object. The second one is one that I'm truly in love with. It is the TERRA shawl, and it's spelled T-E-R-R-A, which is interesting because my daughter's name is Terra, but she spells hers T-A-R-A. And this is by JOHI and I saw this on Instagram. I copied the color completely because when I first glanced at it, I was like, oh, I was so drawn to it because to me it looked like an old-fashioned penny and an old copper penny. And so anyway, I met up with some knitting friends for, we did a distance little meetup down in Liberty Station. We were all masked up and we had our lawn chairs and we were 6 feet apart. But of course, there's a yarn store right there. And so I kind of broke my one rule. I haven't been going in any retail stores or grocery stores or anything. And you can, go in by appointment. And so I went in real quick and bought, I needed to get another gift for a friend, and I got this yarn for myself. And the cool thing about this, besides the fact that I love it, is that it is knit on a size 8 needle. So I was able to do this in just, I don't know, I think it was like maybe 2 weeks or something like that. It's not a real deep shawl, but it's a great shape. Well, I don't want to put too many knitted things on, but it does just hang on your shoulders really nicely. And part of that is the fiber content. This is the Illimani Santee, and somewhere I have the little tag. What did I do with it? It has yak in it. Let's see what happened to it. It has merino and yak and some silk. And it just makes it so, I don't know if it's the yak, but it just hugs your shoulders because it's so soft and warm. And we've already had a little bit of nippy weather, and it was just so comforting to just, have something warm that you could just kind of drape around your shoulders. It's warm back up in the, gosh, I think it's in the 80s today here. So I definitely don't want to wear it today, but that's going to be changing soon. And so I think I'll really be, getting a lot of use out of this. And if you want to knit up a quick shawl, you might want to consider it, because those size 8 needles really make it a quick knit. And JOHI does great patterns. Did I say that it's by JOHI LOCATELLI? Anyway, it was fun and speedy. Let's see. Then the other thing that I've been working nonstop on, I'm going to have to get it, are Christmas socks. And I think this is my 6th pair. Hold on. For all the people in my family, and I think this is the last one I'm going to do. Well, there might be one more. I can't stop. But anyway, this, I made them all a little bit different. This is the pattern from the Yours and Mine sock by ELORA B. And as I've said before, each one of them is a little bit different. This one I had a lot of, I have a lot of red left over, so I made this one. Most of them have more grays in them than this one, but this is Barocco Vintage, and it was on a size 5, so that's the good part, is that it's a size 5 needle, so it just, for socks, it goes by quick. And then I think this is called a bird's eye heel, and it's a little bit different than the normal heel flap and gusset that I usually do. It's still slip stitch, but every other row has an extra knit, or an extra, you slip an extra one every other row. You can look it up. But anyway, I'm getting close to being done with the socks. I am a little tired of knitting them, if I'm honest. So ready to I want to just make some regular socks, like on a, a size 1 needle, and 6 pairs is a lot. So anyway, I think they'll like them. Okay. Moving right along to whips. My work in progress has been quite a journey. This is, hold on, I've got too many things happening here. Let me find a place for my shawl. This has been quite a journey. I had mentioned before that I was working on the Pink Velvet by ANDREA MOWRY, and so far I'm this far along. It's kind of curled, but you can get the general idea. The yoke is got this pattern, and this is Surrey alpaca, brushed Surrey by Blue Sky Fibers, and this is a I don't know if you guys can see these messages that are coming in. Sorry. The white is the Surrey alpaca, and it's DK, so it's actually a little thicker than the fingering. This pinkish yarn here is Olan, and this is their smoked sock, and it's 70 alpaca, 20 silk, and 10 cashmere. So it's between the Surrey, that's so soft, and the cashmere and silk and this fingering. I think it'll be delightful to wear, but it has not been delightful to knit, I'll tell you that. Because the Surrey is thicker than the fingering weight, as I was doing the pattern, it kept the pink kind of would get buried in, it would attach to the Surrey, and I kept losing count of stitches. And of course, I don't know why I was so ridiculous to not use markers right away. The pattern, I believe it was either 10 or 12 stitch repeat. And so I got all goofed up. I had to tear back several rows. I actually spent hours tearing back, and I couldn't find a landmark for the longest time. And to see, to build back, know that I was in good shape. It finally did happen, but it took absolutely hours and hours. And I was getting very frustrated. So you know, as all knitters, all good knitters, we have to stay, you know, stay the course and stay persistent. And I did, and I'm glad I did, because I think I will like it. My gauge changed a little bit. I did do a gauge swatch, and but my gauge did change. And this neck it's a tubular cast on. I see a place that I need to join that a little bit, which was tricky to do. I'm doing this, and I'll talk about it in a second, with Linda from For the Knit of It podcast. No, I said it wrong. For the Fun of Knit. I always goof that up. I'm sorry, Linda. But anyway, I'm going to tell you about the knit along that we're doing. We're both knitting this sweater, and I had started on it first, and then she was like, "Oh, let's do it together." And so then I put it on hold, and I know she's a little behind me, and she got kind of held up on the tubular cast on, which it is really weird if you're not used to doing it. So, and now that I see how kind of stretched out that is, I mean, this is almost going to be like a boat neck rather than a crew neck. I'm wondering if I should have even have done the tubular. Maybe I should have done, like, you know, a German twisted that isn't quite as loose. But we'll see. I haven't really tried it on yet. I need to put a connector in here and then open this up and try it on and just see. I'm going to be doing that soon because I want to check the length. But I already know it's going to be a little bigger on me than I anticipated, but I guess I'd rather have it too big than too little. And so that brings me to the knit along. And Linda and I figured out that we were going to call this, let me make sure I call it the right thing. It's called the Holiday Sweater Knit Along. And you don't have to do a pink velvet. You can do any sweater at all that you're knitting around the holiday season, or for the holiday season, or going to have during the holiday season. And it's sponsored by Linda for the Fun of Knit podcast, which I will link below. Love her podcast. Love her. She's so fun. She's got so much enthusiasm for knitting. And then, of course, my podcast, Through the Back Loop podcast. So both of us are going to give a prize, and it opened on November 1st, and it's going until I guess it closes on December 31st because we're announcing the winner on January 1. And the way you enter is through the two hashtags, because you can enter for hers and you can enter for mine, so you can double dip. She's giving a prize, and so am I. So I will link below. Hers is hashtag festive20 fun of knit, and mine is hashtag festive20 back loop. So you could, take one sweater, one project, and just include both of those hashtags on Instagram and enter. So she has some really beautiful yarn that she shared on her podcast. And I am going to be giving this skein. This skein actually is from it's from PURL SOHO, and this is called Mulberry Merino. Let me make sure I have this right. Mulberry Silk. I'm sorry, it's Mulberry Silk. Might be called Mulberry Silk Merino. And I picked this up at their warehouse in Orange County, which is like about an hour from me. And so it doesn't have the label on it, but that's what it is. And I love the color. It's that, I'm trying to see if that color is reading a little the way it really is. I think that might look just a tad darker on screen than it is in real life, because this is kind of that, just that. The title of it is, or the name of it is something pecan. Oh, I looked it up and now I didn't write it down. but it's that really rich color that I love. As you can tell, it's like very similar to this color. And so I will be drawing one finished. You can check in, do that hashtag as you're knitting, and put pictures on there. There's a few on there already, and then it'll only be finished objects that we'll be drawing a winner for. So you have to get finished by December 31st. And so I will be gifting this skein of merino and silk. This is they say it's a sport weight on Purl Soho's website. But I did notice that this shawl is knit in what they call DK, and this is a little bit thicker than what they call DK. So I don't know. Is sport a little thicker than DK? I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look that up. But anyway, it's really almost, I mean, it's very close to me. It just looks close to worsted weight to me. But I will be giving this skein of yarn as well as a hat pattern of your choice on Ravelry. And I really encourage you to join in, because there's hardly anybody that's joined in. It's, I'd say right now there's only like 5 people maybe at the most. And so you have a really, really good chance of winning. And, you can double dip. So who knows, maybe you could win Linda's prize too. She has some beautiful yarn that she's pairing with some mohair. But so her prize is lovely too. But anyway, I encourage you. I've never done anything like this before. It's so unlike me, honestly. But it'll be fun. I'd love to see what you do. So please join us if you can. All right. Let me think and double check and see if there's anything else I wanted to say about that. Just so you know, this is 247 yards. And I did get on Ravelry, and there are a ton of hat patterns that you can make a hat with that amount. So should be easy to find one that you really like. All right. Gosh, I'm zipping right through today. For future knitting, I am thinking about a couple of different things. The first one is knitting the Harbor by BRITT-MARIE. What's BRITT-MARIE's last name? BREHMER? And if you watched a previous podcast, I knit this capelet for my daughter, and I want to do one for myself. And so I have purchased this Shabui yarn. It's this yarn's called Haven, and I think they consider this worsted. Let me see what they say on here. Oh no, it's considered DK. But then you pair it with this this yarn that's called Seema. And so you hold these two strands together, and it just, when I made the cape for my daughter, I just was like, I have to knit one for myself. So I actually ordered this on Webs, and it's ready to go. So this is in my future. And then the other one that I hope to start in January is the Affinity sweater class with Patty Lyons, and it's got a lot of cables, and so that's, I don't know which one I'm going to do first, if I'll do the capelet or if I'll do the Affinity sweater. But she is doing a knit along. I think it starts in November. I think it's already started, and then there's another group starting in January. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up with the January group. And then, so those are in the future, but I did want to share just an acquisition, because I've never had any yarn like this before. This is Spin Cycle, and I bought this from Modern Daily Knitting. They were having a free shipping day. And I can't remember if I got it on sale. That I may have gotten it on sale too. I can't remember if it was just free shipping or if it was on sale. But anyway, this is dyed in the wool. It's 200 yards and it is a sport weight. It's called Melancholia. And I've just admired Spin Cycle from a distance. Never had any, but I'm hoping to do some color work. Like, since I'm so drawn to this, I mean, obviously I'm giving this to someone else, but this color is something that I always like, and I may at some point put this in a color work sweater because I love, it's kind of like a gradient if you're familiar with Spin Cycle. And so it just, although this one's a lot of blues and greens, I don't know if you can see, but inside there are, variations of color. So anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna, where it's gonna end up, but it will end up someplace really special. So as far as I wanted to share, I haven't been doing much sewing at all. However, I'm getting quite a pile here. I did sew a couple of masks lately, and I think this one has a lot of dog hair. And I do see, you can see over my shoulder, oh, I always go the wrong way, over my shoulder back here, you can see Ollie sleeping, my beagle, my 13-year-old beagle. He's quite the trooper. I'll talk about some of the things we've been doing lately in a minute, but I'm jumping all over. ADHD kicks in once again. I wanted to share this mask. This mask, and I just made it out of scraps, but it's a 3D mask, and you can, if you're interested in making one of these, MARCY HARRIELL on YouTube, and she's a sewist that does a lot of tutorials on all kinds of different sewing things. But she has this, and I'll link it below. I love this mask. It, I'll show you. It is 3D, and it's really great. Like, it doesn't fog up your glasses, and it's all really secure right here, and it has this part that's under your chin, and so it just feels really, really super secure. And she even, you make a little channel, see that little channel? And I put a piece of wire in there, and so you can really mold it to your nose. The only mistake I made, and it doesn't matter, but I didn't know how it all went together, and I ended up kind of doing it inside out. That was supposed to be on the outside. So when you're sewing, and this is like a rookie mistake, right sides together. So I should have had the right sides all going forward, because you turn it inside out, and anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I made one for myself and one for my husband, and she has these really funny videos, and she and her husband are both, on it. And so she has a mask that's, or a pattern that's like this shape, and then she shows you how to, it's bigger, and the bigger version fits her husband, and then she folds it and, makes a little fold line in it, takes about an inch out, and then that was the size for her. And so I actually made my husband one too, because he really needed one. And so only sewing I've been doing lately, and I will link it below because it's one of my more favorite masks that I've made. And I said the other day, I think masks are like glasses. You just need to, have them everywhere in your house and car so you can find them when you need it. I always say, I know you're not really supposed to, I don't know why, but I always put it on the rearview mirror of my car. I think it's a great idea because it's not getting dirty. It's getting, lots of sunlight. I don't know, but I heard somewhere that you shouldn't do that, but I still do. The other thing that was really cool that she recommended is for a filter, she recommended using, the paper towels where you can, instead of pulling off one whole regular size sheet, they have it so it's like a third of a sheet or a half of a sheet. and it'll fit just right in there. And I thought, oh, what a great idea, because then you could just take that out. And I know you're supposed to wash your mask really often, and I'm not very good at that. I'm not going that many places, so I guess I don't, it's not like I wear it every day or anything like that. But anyway, I thought that was another clever idea with the paper towel. And that gives you, 3 layers, because this mask is the fabric's 2, and then you'll have 1 more layer with the paper towel. So anyway, you might want to check that out. So basically, I'm just gonna kind of wrap things up just with kind of just talking about life in general. I hope you're hanging in there. We're trying to be as safe as we possibly can. In fact, I know I've said this before, but we locked down in March, and we kind of just changed our lives and haven't. It's been pretty boring, I'll tell you that. If it wasn't for knitting and knitting podcasts, I would have gone crazy a long time ago. But like we didn't go to restaurants. I canceled my dentist appointment. I haven't gotten my hair done. God knows I need it so bad. My husband's my hairdresser, which is, boy, that's desperate. That's desperation right there. But anyway, all along we were kind of like, are we overreacting? But just from listening to the science and stuff, just felt like we were doing the right thing. And, there was lots of jealousy involved when I saw other people doing things with their families and wanted to. And so we've tried to be really, really safe. And it looks like everybody's going to have to go into that mode again, because the numbers are so high. And, we're approaching, winter and the holiday season, and it's rough. It's rough. But I love what Dr. Fauci says. He says the cavalry is coming. And so if we can just hold on, if our creativity and our ingenuity and our discipline and our kindness to other people, wear a mask. Yeah, that's the kindest thing that you could do. And cheer people up when they're feeling down. That just makes such a difference, and we will get through this. But I was just kind of explaining how we're living our lives. My husband and I went up to LA yesterday. As a matter of fact, it was our son's birthday, and my son and daughter both live in LA, and my daughter and her partner did so many nice things for my son. And we went to Elysian Park, and we had a distance. We had our masks, and we stayed 6 feet apart, but we still really had fun. I'll put a couple of pictures. But it kind of came back refreshed. We were outside the whole time, and we kept our distance, and we were creative. My son turned 33, and he's still really good at climbing trees, and we still made it a special day. So I felt refreshed when we came back. And everybody's trying to figure out how to handle the holidays. For us, it looks like we're going to be our family's so lucky because, my husband and I are retired. My son and my daughter and her partner, they all work from home. They all do digital stuff. And so everybody's just quarantining, which they pretty much have already. And then we will all test. We're probably I haven't set the appointment. I'll probably set it tomorrow, but I want to make sure that we have enough time, because I'm sure it's going to be busy right before Thanksgiving. So we'll all test, and then we'll form our little bubble. So anyway, I know you're probably, I don't know, maybe you've made those decisions, and everybody has to make it for themselves. It's been, I think one of the more difficult parts of all this is that we've had to just kind of be on our own and figure it out. There was never any real, each state was giving some directions, but it was all, the states were all conflicting, and there was no federal response where, it was real clear. So, we tried our best to really listen to the science from the beginning, and we've tried really hard, and, knock wood, there's, even with all the precautions that we've taken, there's no real, absolute 100% guarantee, but we're feeling pretty good about all the decisions we've made, and, who knows, we could still get it at some point, but hopefully not. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to share that little piece of our life, because I know everybody's trying to figure out how to maneuver in getting through this winter. And I heard someone say, well, we need to get through this winter so that we can see all of our family and friends, next holiday season. And I'm so counting on that, because I really miss my mom. And, usually I got to see her in February, and I usually go back in the summer. I go back to Missouri and visit her, like either in the summer. It's usually around September-ish, either April or September. And, wasn't able to do that this year. And, luckily she came out here in February, so it hasn't been quite a year yet, but this is the longest I've ever gone. And I really worry about her, because the numbers are so high in her state. But anyway, I know this was kind of fast and furious and quick. I will share some pictures just of life in general at the end, like I always do. But I encourage you to stay safe, stay strong, and just put a little bit of kindness out into the world, just like Johanna did. And until then, until next time, take good care. Bye-bye.